All right, so this question comes from 10A, the 2D objects and conversions. And so it says, find the circumference in the area of a circle with the radius of 6 inches. So let's try this one. So keep in mind that when you are working on these, you do have access to the formula sheet that is available in D2L. This formula sheet is also the formula sheet that you're going to see the whole semester for the exams. So you should get used to using this. So this formula sheet covers the whole semester. So we have to look for where 10A formulas are, and we see them written here. So we've got area formulas, and the one says the area of a circle is right here. And then we also have the circumference of a circle right here. So it says the circumference of a circle, that's the sum of the outside edge. And for any shape, it's the sum of adding up all the sides. But what a circle doesn't have sides, it is circular. So it's pi times the diameter, or if you have the radius, it's 2 pi r. So let's draw what a circle looks like on here. So here's my circle. Now we have to know a few things about a circle. The first thing, this is the center of the circle, and from the center to any outside edge is called the radius. And that is the same for a circle. So the length from the center of the circle to any outside edge is called the radius. And so that is r. And r, we were told, if we go back to the problem, is 6 inches. So if the formula that I have two formulas for circumference. I have pi r, or I have, pi d, pi times d, or I have 2 pi r. And so the reason why you can replace this d with the 2r is because those are equivalent. The diameter is from the outside edge to the other outside edge, but passing through the center. So it's made up of 2 radiuses. So the diameter is equal to 2 radiuses. So that's why you have the choice of the formula to use. So I'm going to go with this one because I was given the radius. The radius is 6 inches in this problem. So I'm going to say C is equal to 2 times pi times r. And I'm going to replace r with 6 inches. Now, pi is a number. And we have to pay attention because sometimes pi, we are asked to use the number abbreviated. Pi is a number that, it's an irrational number that continues on forever. Sometimes we abbreviate it with 3.14. So we want to make sure that if they tell us in the MyLab Math to use 3.14, that's what we do. And if they don't, we can use pi and we should be able to get the correct answer. And sometimes if you use the rounded one, the 3.14, your answer will be slightly off because of a rounding error. So this one doesn't tell us to use 3.14, but it does say to round to the nearest 10th. So at the end, I am going to round my answer to the nearest 10th. And so I'm going to put this in my calculator, 2 pi times 6. And so let's grab the calculator and let's do that. So this right here that we see is the TI-84 Plus, and this is the screen that you have on top. So I'm going to hit the numbers 2, and then the pi button on the calculator is found right here. See, on this one, you have to hit the second, and then the caret symbol, and so you see it right here. and then I'm going to hit times 6. The calculator knows that 2 touching pi is multiplication, and I could have even skipped the times here because the calculator will know that it's to be multiplication. So 2 times pi times 6 is 37.6991, and so I'm going to write that down, and then I want to round. And so again, I'm rounding to the 10th place. This is the 10th place right here. So I have to look 1 over. This number I underlined, if it is 5 or more, I'm going to round this number with the arrow up. So since 9 is more than 5, I'm going to round it here. And if it is less than 5, I'm going to keep this number with the arrow the same. Now, the units for this will be single units because the circumference is just adding up this outside edge. So it's 6 inches was the radius. This is going to be in inches. So 37.7 inches. So I'm going to put that onto my lab math. And let's see what I get. Hold this down. Inches squared is for area. Inches cubed would be for volume. And inches is for circumference or perimeter. And now I'll hit check answer. And I get a green check mark. And so I move on. The area. So to find the area, I need to use my formula sheet again. And 2D area formulas. So area. And I'm going to go all the way to circle. And it says the area is equal to pi r squared. So let's write down that here. Area is equal to pi r squared. I have the radius. So the radius is 6 inches. So I'm going to replace the r with 6. And then I'm going to square it. And then once I square it, the units of inches will be squared. So I end up with area is equal to 36 pi. Now I don't have to do this in steps. I could put it into my calculator like this, and so let's do that together. So I'm going to find the pi button, and then I'm going to hit times 6, and then the squared. You can either do caret symbol and then the number 2, or you can, let's delete that. You can hit this button here above the log, and it's any value squared. So it automatically puts that little superscript 2 there. When I hit enter, I get 113.097 and so on. And so let's write that on my paper. The units here will be square inches because the 6 was squared and that squared my units of inches. And then going back to the MyLab math, let's see how it wants us to write our answer because that's very important. Type an integer or decimal rounded to the nearest 10th. So this is not an integer, but it is a decimal. And I'm going to round to the nearest 10th. So where am I going to look? The 10th place. When I look 1 over, this is more than 5, so I'm going to round that number with the arrow up. And so this will be my area. And so let's go back to the MyLab map. And let's put that in. And let's make sure that we get our green check mark. My units here again, for area, it's always going to be square units. Check answer, well done. And then I'm done with this problem and I can move on to the next one.